Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is another crazy example of black privilege because obviously, if there's a white person with any of this, I'm pretty sure they would not have the same privilege as this, but I digress, right? Like, this is just the insanity that we're in here. So, Carmelo Anthony has been known to be a murderer, at least allegedly a murderer, and for some reason, they will not release the actual tapes of the said murder because they would probably paint him as a criminal, as a monster for stabbing somebody for no actual legitimate reason. Well, of course, we have this here to where the schools are not wanting him to graduate. So, without further ado, here, let's get into it. It says John Rocker, this gentleman calls Carmelo Anthony a hero for unaliving a young white man and would like to see statues of him erected across the southern U.S. What is wrong with people? It says, we need some statues. So this is from Dylan Smith here saying, we need some statues of our hero king, Carmelo Anthony, in Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and North and South Carolina. Now, guys, if nobody can understand this here, right? This usually means that it usually means that uh, this guy's was sympathizing with him unaliving a white boy, right? That's pretty much what it is. And I don't know how else to go with this, right? That the insanity here is that these people are appropriating a black man killing a white boy. This is just as normal. And this is the reason why I can't stand the black community. And we're going to be going into this at some point where there's a lot of black fatigue going on. And, I feel it. I think a lot of people feel it. And I think there's finally going to be some snap back around because I think black people need to be held accountable for their actions, the way they act, etc. Because it's really, really annoying. So, again, we have this here from Uncle Bill saying, I have also attached my open letter to Viz trustees about allowing Carmelo Anthony to get rid of his diploma. This is the definition of insanity. The race baiters from NGAN got to them. This is my own community, and I am ashamed of this clear nonsense. So first we have this here from Uncle Bill to Frisco Chronicles whistleblower. It says, open letter to the trustees and administration of FISAD. How the hell do you open the paper this morning and see that you are honoring this criminal, Carmelo Anthony, with a high school diploma? You clearly taught him nothing about the value of life and how one should behave in society. One could argue that a prior suspicion for Carmelo's behavior fell way short of teaching him anything. This move of honoring him is sending a nasty message to our kids and, frankly, the parents and voters. Every one of you should be ashamed of this decision and reverse it immediately. Some will argue that his receiving it doesn't matter as he'll never be able to use it. That is not the point. The point is the message it sends to the public. It's pretty clear that the race baiters got to the silly side of your decision-making abilities. Tell NGAN and the Anthony family you are doing what is right by uploading the expulsion and denying the document destination. There is video evidence that he committed the crime, and he has openly admitted to stabbing an unaliving young Metcalf. You can cure this insanity by withholding that piece of paper that will never matter. Bestowing that same honor on this person simply insults all those other students as centennial. None of them unalived a fellow student. Perhaps they should just walk away from the ceremony. At the very least, they should turn their backs on the trustees attending any ceremony. Sorry, but this level of dumb and disregard for humanity does not deserve my tax dollars. Well said. It is obviously my attention, and I can only hope that it draws the attention of those who elect fools. I agree. And we're going to be going over exactly to the who the principal is and what they look like, because obviously there's going to be some correlation here, and I think some people are going to ring some bells. So obviously, the fact of the matter is that this is a huge problem, and let me explain it for very briefly here. So say, for instance, you had a child, right? And you say, okay, well, a child goes out and steals from somebody, right? You're saying, oh, it's okay, little Timmy. You can't go to this place anymore, but you can still go over to this place to go and steal. Like, it is not teaching anybody anything. Or, like, for instance, if somebody goes out and, attacks somebody, but they don't go to jail. There is no consequence here. There needs to be punishment. It doesn't matter whether or not that people can do this, right? Because again, if that means that, like, oh, well, I can just go and off somebody, right? And then that means at this school, I can be allowed to still graduate and get benefits even though I unalive somebody, despite me going to jail. It's asinine here. It's completely asinine. So that's what's going on here. We have this here from the Metro. It says Anthony to miss ceremony, but district says student accused of fatal stabbing will receive his diploma from Centennial High. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point being here is that why is he giving any type of ceremony if he's expelled? I was expelled once, right? And for when I was back in 7th grade. And I was not given any type of ceremony, no type of graduation thing or whatever, right? When it came time, right? I wasn't given anything like that. I was given that to the other school that I went to, but I was not given any type of ceremony. So why should people be given a ceremony if they're supposed to be expelled? Obviously, he's not expelled, because if he was expelled, he would not be getting a graduation at all. But he is, for some kind of apparent reason. We have this here from Jaden McNeil saying, I was expelled from Kansas State and unable to graduate for saying White Lives Matter. Carmelo Anthony murdered Austin Metcalf and will still get a diploma and a $500K reward. That's insane. And this is what this guy is going here, what he was going here, and what he said. This is wild here. This is insane. We also have this from Carmelo Anthony will receive his diploma while on trial for fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf, but there are many restrictions. So pretty much what they're saying is, oh, he's going to be, yeah, he'll be getting his diploma, but there's restrictions, right? He won't be able to perform. He won't be able to go to the ceremony. I don't care. How many people like this, Jaden McNeil here, goes out and says White Lives Matter, and he doesn't get his ceremony, and he doesn't get $500K, but this guy here can go murder someone and then say, oh, I'm going to get $500K and my diploma? Nah, man. This is what I'm talking about. Black privilege is very alive and well. We have this here saying, Texas teen Carmelo Anthony set to graduate from high school while facing Austin Metcalf's murder charge, but won't receive his honor. Yeah, so this is bloody wild. This is insane here. There's no way this is real. I wish it was not. And we have this here where Austin Metcalf's father is visibly angry and upset about this, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. So we're going to get into this.
Diploma. Anthony is the Frisco High School student accused in the deadly stabbing of Austin Metcalf. Well, Metcalf's father now wants to confront the district superintendent about this decision. Our JD Miles was the only local reporter there. He brings us the story tonight.
He says he just wants answers, but when Jeff Metcalf arrived at Frisco ISD's administration building, this is what he got.
Hi there, can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to come in and speak to someone, please.
I'm sorry, we're not allowed to let anyone in without an appointment.
The father of Austin Metcalf wanted to hear directly from Frisco ISD Superintendent Mike Waldrop what he heard from media reports on Tuesday. Those reports are that Carmelo Anthony will get his diploma later this month, despite being under house arrest and charged with murdering Metcalf's son, Austin.
I've been stonewalled, said, I understand the protocol. They said I have to make an appointment, which I did.
It was 6 weeks ago today when what authorities describe as an altercation between Austin and Carmelo led to one 17-year-old pulling a knife and stabbing the other 17-year-old in the chest at a track meet inside a Frisco ISD stadium. Anthony's parents, who claim their son was just defending himself, asked Frisco ISD to allow him to get his high school diploma. Sources say an agreement was reached that would allow that.
So I'm just curious on how they arrived at it when I read their own policy manual about what it states for mandatory expulsion and also graduation.
In a statement to CBS News Texas, a representative for the Anthony family tells us, we cannot and will not speak about the agreement made with Frisco ISD that remains confidential and legally protected. However, it is truly a shame that anyone would go so far as to threaten a graduation ceremony or try to ruin a day that should be filled with joy, pride, and accomplishment for so many students and their families.
No. This is from Dominic Alexander, right? But the point being is that The difference between these people is that the students and the parents did not murder someone. That's the actual difference here. And this kid was supposedly and allegedly expelled, but apparently not. Because if normally when you're expelled, this kind of warrants you to not get a graduation from that school, no matter what grade you're in. Now, last time I checked. So for some apparent reason, even though this kid was quote unquote expelled, right, he's still getting a graduation. So why should these people feel joy and greatness when they know a murderer gets a graduation? That's insanity here.
Frisco ISD superintendent posted a message on social media last night, making it clear that Anthony will not be allowed to attend a graduation ceremony. No student who commits a serious criminal offense is permitted to participate in the graduation ceremony.
That's not the bloody point. The point is that this kid is supposed to be expelled, and you're still giving him a actual graduation paper for good deeds. Like, what are we doing here? He unalived someone, and it's going to make your school look very, very bad when he's convicted of first-degree murder.
But sources say Anthony's GPA was high enough to withstand missing the last month of school and still meet the requirements for a diploma. The school district tells CBS News Texas if the student is expelled, they may continue their education through the Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Program. In cases where a student has completed all graduation requirements and is facing expulsion, Frisco ISD typically gives the option of early graduation instead of placement at JJAEP. The controversy has resulted in a new online petition to award Metcalf an honorary diploma next year, when he would have graduated along with his twin brother.
The fact of the matter is it's not going to bring my son back. I mean, it's a nice gesture, but in the long run, my son doesn't get a diploma. So there's part of me that says maybe Mr. Anthony shouldn't get one either.
In Frisco, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
He's rightfully angry, and as he should be. It is BS, man. This is the reason why. People say there's white privilege, but I haven't seen the white privilege. I've seen black privilege, though, and this is what I'm talking about, black privilege here. This is insanity. And, of course, this is the principal here. This is Frisco ISD. This is Kira Henderson. This person here is the principal. They are the current principal of this school. Notice how she's black. So she's just going to allow a murderer to, graduate from her school. This is the reason why people are so sick and tired of this black privilege, of this and black people, because they do this type of BS. Like, this is a horrible representation for black people, because now that we found out that you're actually a black woman and you're and all this, it's great. So now what we have here is that we have black people appropriating and allowing murder. We have black people that are lowering the bond for a black person that murdered a white boy, and he gets free. So that's the judge. And now we have the principal that is black that is giving this guy a graduation award. What are we doing here? This is the reason why people are so fed up with black people and this lunacy. This is the black fatigue that people are talking about. We need to set a higher standard for our community and outcry. People like this, Kiara Henderson, should be forced to step down, because I'm so sick and tired of black people doing this victimhood, and all this other BS, and we get this type of result. This is not going to solve race relations. This is going to make things worse, because people are going to see this and be like, nah, there's something wrong here. So yes, there's definitely black privilege in this society, and white people are at the footstone of being stepped on, and it needs to end. We need to have equality for everyone, and there's not going to be equality for everyone if this BS keeps on happening. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.